For those with good taste.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? It's your boys from For Those with Good Taste. I'm Matt. He's Lenny.
What's up?
And we're back here in Good Taste Studios experiencing, would you say, technical difficulties, Len?
What else is new in the life of For Those with Good Taste, huh?
I mean, when you're putting out content as hot as we are, it kind of comes with the territory.
I thought you were going to say shit is going to get burned.
Well, I mean, shit's going to get real, for sure.
It's certainly real. It's been a real pain in my ass. But let's just, skip all that crap and let's get into...
Let's give the people what they want.
Yeah, let's get into more fun things, right?
I mean, there's really only one thing that we can talk about this week, Len.
Yeah, and I said fun a little too soon.
Yeah, as soon as you dropped the F word, I was like, the wrong one. You know what I mean? But let's get right into it. Last week, the Justice League Snyder Cut hit the world. And would you say that it kind of took the world by storm, Len?
It was a bat out of hell, Matt.
It certainly was. I just want to get a couple things out of you real quick.
Hit me with them. All
right. When you think about Justice League Snyder Cut and the long experience that it was a hot 4 hours. First question I've got for you, was it better than the original?
Yes. So it's not even a hard question, right? I paused. I'm like, is it? No, it's...
Way to create depth.
Markedly better than the original.
Yeah.
And we can get into what's your next question, Matt?
I mean, that was kind of the easy part. I felt like that was a little bit of a give me.
Yeah. I mean, so it's better than the original. Is it good? Is that our next question?
Yeah, I think that's the hard-nosed question.
I'll ask you first.
You putting me on the spot?
Do you want to save it?
No. I absolutely no. I'm okay with doing this. So we've already kind of stated that it is better than Joss Whedon's original. I will go on to say that it fills in a lot of great plots for me. It certainly does pass the taste test, but I certainly had my reservations about it.
This would be my word of advice. Cut an hour.
Yeah.
Cut like an hour of this movie out, and I would say it was good.
Would you say just speed up some of the slow shit?
I mean, that'll cut off 5 or 10 minutes, apparently.
Oh, man.
So we could start there. It's just, there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't, it feels like there's a lot of fluff. And it feels like we just, it feels like not fan service. It feels like, is there such thing as like director service?
Yeah. I mean, it's safe to say that this had Zack Snyder kind of written all over it. And it was 100% like, hey, this is my work. Enjoy.
It felt a bit like a Zack Snyder jerk-off fest to me.
Ooh.
It's like, I'll start here. 4x3. Okay.
Who's that for?
It's like, I know it's kind of stupid, right? Like it's kind of an unimportant thing to be upset about at the end of the day.
Is it?
It is and it isn't. Like, so I have a big TV. I want to watch my shit on a big TV, right? So that's frustrating.
I'm also staring at this for 4 hours.
But at the same time, we got used to like DVDs being letterbox. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like we lost the tops and bottoms to a lot of movies when we were younger too.
Sure. It's not the first time we've had to deal with it.
Whereas, but we go back to 4x3, but that didn't feel like it was for really anybody else other than him. Like, to just be like, I did it.
Yeah, it was to save his vision.
I heard the vision thing. It says that at the beginning, right? And it says like, and I heard
preserve.
I want to be able to release this in IMAX later, and it's like, but I'm pretty sure you still could, but like, you're not releasing it to IMAX. Like, you're releasing it to my fucking TV in my bedroom,
which I invested a lot of money in.
Yeah, I would just like you to cater it to the TV I'm watching it on, not the one you hope to have it on in a year.
And it really didn't do the film itself any service, because you didn't really get to enjoy those moments that would have really popped on that really, that widescreen look.
I might have liked it more, but at the end of the day, like I appreciate the action that we got in this. I have no quorums about that. Like, I think that's some of the best parts. For me, I watched it in like 5 different parts, basically. I watched like 20 minutes, 40 minutes, and then I hit a real groove.
Certainly seems like that was the way to go.
Yeah, it was way, because I enjoy about 2.5 hours in, as nuts as that fucking sounds. About 2.5 to 3 hours in, I think shit really starts to pick up, post Superman's reincarnation and, well, not reincarnation.
Resurrection.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
He was reincarnated in a black suit.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly wasn't the Superman that we knew. He kind of became something else, which I think was intended, right?
Yeah.
They certainly did a lot of things better. What would you say are the top 3 things that you thought they did better?
Okay, so quickly, the Flash scene at the beginning is the best thing that he's done in either movie.
Sure.
The part with saving Iris. I like that despite the music choice. Everything else I thought was really good. I even thought he was kind of genuinely funny when he had that scene. So that would be a big positive for me. Next, in terms of character development, I think Cyborg.
Victor Stone nailed it.
Like I understand why that guy's upset. I want to take back, like we did a video a few months back. I want to take it back because like I can see where you might be mad because like you were really the soul of this movie. Where
it was a cornerstone
for me, like the most interesting storyline we got. You know, you could say other people were really like pivotal. Batman, Superman, I think really played big parts.
Victor Stone certainly was the most relatable character, I think, in the film.
Yeah, I was really with it. I liked his storyline. And then lastly, like I said, I liked the changes in the battle sequences. So the beginning where they're trying to protect the box on, like the Amazonians are trying to protect the box. I really liked that scene. I just liked the added part at the beginning there in the room. The action just seemed paced better, and I was more interested.
They seemed to take their time with that battle and kind of let you enjoy the moment that was happening.
Yeah, and then it's like the battle at the end. It felt like everybody had a purpose, and it also felt like it was evenly distributed in a way. You know, I do have some questions on powers for you.
Oh man,
so
hit me with them.
A couple, like Aquaman. Is he just like man? Like, is that what we should call? Because like, there's just very little to do with water that he does, but yet somehow he keeps up with everybody around him.
Yeah, I thought they did an interesting thing with Mira, where they showed her kind of using the space underwater and water to Steppenwolf.
When she pulled the water
out of his face, it was fantastic.
Yeah, that's really cool.
They did something really cool there, where they kind of showed you what the possibilities were. But as we know, Aquaman in his standalone movie, he's the product of humans and Atlanteans meeting, right? But that doesn't really, if anything, that should make him weaker. That doesn't kind of make sense as to why he's able to maintain and keep up with Steppenwolf, Wonder Woman. I mean, he takes a punch from Superman like it's nothing.
That's where when I've said this to people, like, oh, like he doesn't need water to like be powerful, and they're like, well, he's half man, and it's like, well, but and that's even more so why he shouldn't be like standing toe to toe. He's not even a full blood, right? This dude's a muggle, basically.
Whoa, whoa, buddy! You're throwing Harry Potter terms out here, guy.
So he's a half blood dude, and he's out here like, hanging with all these other
his potential hasn't even really been unlocked yet, right? He doesn't have the true trident.
In one of the many slow-mo scenes in this movie, Matt, it's when Bruce is like driving through. They busted through the like outside barrier, and there's like a slow-mo of all 5 of them together. I think they've used it in like every trailer, shot, right? How the fuck is he keeping up with Wonder Woman in the Flash? Also, the guy who's flying,
surrounded
by in a car,
surrounded by fire. There's no water anywhere.
But it also leads me to the next issue: is that they put this movie in an empty city, right? Yeah. And that's strategic. It's because people criticized Man of Steel for demolishing an entire city, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of put yourself in an environment where nobody's going to care if it's already been destroyed.
Yeah, it's kind of insinuated that it's Chernobyl in a sense. Like you're getting this rotted wasteland that's surrounded by radiation.
But yeah, you put him there so you can have this all-out battle and nobody's really hurt by it. It seems a little more friendly that way. But also, it puts you in a spot where like Aquaman has no real reason to be there.
It didn't really fit the puzzle. In places where they did really well with Victor Stone and with Ezra Miller as the Flash, I was really just kind of questioning Jason Momoa's Aquaman. Like it didn't really fit.
He gets, and I think so. Aquaman came out after this came out. Right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it improved. Like, he's better.
We get the information as to how he comes to be, but in this movie where we're all kind of getting that in the film, he kind of just doesn't really make sense. We see him.
Why would you choose him? You know, why was he? Because he existed. Like that's why we chose him.
He's superhuman. Maybe that's something that Bruce thought was good.
I suppose he can be strong. I just don't. It defeats the purpose of having the character the Flash. If in theory, when he should be running like at full speed, he's keeping up with a car. He's keeping up with a Superwoman.
Don't get me started on the Flash, dude. Okay, because one of my biggest issues were I don't know when Barry is going fast, really fast, super fast and time space continuum breaking fast. None of it really made sense to me. It's all in slow motion.
Their solution to going fast was to go slow. It's very weird.
Yeah.
I will give them. I'll shoot them some bail on this. I think the scene where he's like rebuilding time.
Yeah.
Looks cool.
And that's the only scene that it makes sense.
But it's also, I mean, if you're going to do it at any point, it's like the most important.
But I couldn't tell the difference between that slow mo and the slow mo where he's tapping the sword to Wonder Woman.
The fact that like the ground is rebuilding around
that doesn't do it enough.
I don't know. For me, it looks cool. I like it.
Doesn't do it enough for me.
And it kind of lends to the next thing that it's like it's in a way it's like foreshadowing for Flashpoint, right? If we're gonna get if we're gonna get a Flash movie, like this is the best setup they could have given us for the fact that now we know that he can hit a speed that turns back time,
and is able to alter what's happening. What is reality?
And you've given us the poor backstory with the dad that I found was super awkward, to kind of give us his motivation for why he might want to like go backwards and some. Yeah,
we're left with a lot of questions around this film. I think it does a great job of tying a ton of storylines together, giving us a better Steppenwolf and antagonist for the film. Darkseid's appearance was fantastic. But there was a villain that made maybe a little bit more waves than everyone else, and he had a shorter amount of time. What did you think of the Joker's appearance in the epilogue?
I mean, they've told us that Jared Leto was like shot a lot of scenes for movies that we're just not seeing, and I think this was a good example as to why. Yeah. It was awkward, man. It wasn't. Did you like it?
There was only one good line. There was really only one good interaction between the two.
Is it his good line or was it? I mean, Batman steals the show.
His line is, "Careful, don't say that he doesn't know what it is to feel loss. He's lost a father, a mother, an adopted child." Right? It sets the tone for the Jason Todd story. But the Batfleck's response, where he's like, "Listen, when I kill you, and don't get me wrong, I am going to fucking kill you." Mm-hmm. It creates the best dynamic between those two that I think we've gotten since we've seen Jared Leto's Joker. But we just haven't seen anything from him.
Let me know that I think Batman should swear more.
Yeah, I think Ben Affleck's badass Batman has to be surrounded by F-bombs.
Yeah, well,
100%.
Any Batman. Like this guy, he has the right voice for saying fucking, dude.
Oh, it's
like, I'm gonna fucking catch
and
you.
I think at this point he's at his age where he's just not taking any shit.
Yeah,
like I for sure am dropping F-bombs.
He's a step away from being fucking Clint Eastwood in El Torino or whatever.
Gran Torino.
Gran Torino.
Nice job there, buddy.
I butchered half of that. But you get my sentiment. And I think that like the Bruce Wayne in Batman Beyond is very similar to Clint Eastwood.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised if Clint Eastwood makes an appearance as old Batman, hooked up to an oxygen
really
tank.
Batman,
yeah, like near-death Batman.
Really old racist Batman.
But, I mean, I think the biggest question for me coming out of it, yes, I enjoyed it. Yes, I had some questions. But I really just needed to know what this film meant in the overall world that is the DC universe. And are we going to get an extension to understanding what could be known as the Snyderverse? #Snyderverse.
We're going to need more answers than just that. It's because it's like, is the DCU done? You know what I mean? Is it like, is it going to continue from here? Or is this kind of the cap to it? It's like, hey, like we're going to give the fans what they want here, but we're moving on. You know, we've heard that the Flash could rewrite a lot of this, but in order for you to have the Flash rewrite all of this,
you would have to rewrite what's already happened.
Well, which story is the Flash going to follow? And I would assume this is now canon, right?
Yeah.
Nobody likes that other movie. We can all
what other movie?
Exactly. Like we can all pretend that it didn't happen at this point. Just take this as canon. Despite how long it is, it gives you a ton of backstory and a ton of context for all of the characters.
And it fits all the movies that followed. Wonder Woman, all that other stuff.
Yeah, you see improvements, if anything, from these.
Makes sense.
From this movie, you saw improvements, like the Aquaman character.
Aside from the Amazonian music from 300 playing every time you got to see Wonder Woman. Hey, look at me, Zack Snyder. We're all moving on from Snyderverse. You need to move on from the 300 music, buddy.
Cut the shit, dude.
Sick of it, dude.
Buddy.
Dude, stop. There's slow motion, Amazonian music. I could do without it all.
So I think I'll say this. It's definitely something that's worth a watch. It's
worth
not
a spoil
something
too.
I will watch again. I don't think. Maybe maybe when another movie's going to come out down the line, I'll watch it again. I have one last question for you before we get off this topic, Matt. Are you going to rewatch it in black and white?
No, get that shit out of my face. Why would I do that?
Yeah, it's nuts that they do that now. It's like now, like, I mean, they've done it a few times, but it is kind of weird to release something like in, you know?
That's probably one of the worst ways that you can progress this experience.
Maybe I'm wrong. Let us know if you're going to watch it.
Yeah, hit us in the comments.
In black and white. And if you liked it in the full color, you know.
Well, yeah, we'd love to get some feedback.
Yeah.
You know, we've only been able to bounce this off each other and a few other people that we know. Let us know what you thought.
I hope, like, the audio catches this. It probably won't, but my knee just, like, popped so badly from sitting still, dude.
It's probably snap, crackle, popping to mix in with the rest of this interference that we're getting.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just mixing in.
So let's get on to the current events, though. So we talked about something from a couple weeks ago. Let's get into what happened today.
Yeah.
We had our second episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Killed it. Boom. Confetti flies everywhere.
Yeah, we have
our soundproofing is coming down as well. No worries.
Nobody will see that.
Hate to acknowledge that. No, you're good. Yeah, Falcon and the Winter Soldier dropped episode dose on us, and I immediately was excited to jump in here with you because I know that this was something that you were excited to watch. Have you managed to watch both episodes?
Can I get a round of applause for myself, guys?
Yeah.
People at home, let me know you're clapping for me because I have watched 2 episodes of a show back to back in weeks. Yeah.
Nailed it. Okay.
I woke up this morning. I banged a couple of episodes out of stuff. One of them being Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
That's great.
And I think I'm happy. I think I'm happy
really?
that I did. Yeah.
I was nervous coming in here because I was so excited to come in here. I was ecstatic almost.
Yeah.
And the fact that I didn't think you were going to enjoy it, I was a little nervous.
Listen, it seems like there's going to be a pattern to these episodes, though. Getting into my thoughts on the actual episode itself, it seems like there's going to be a little bit of a pattern where, we're going to get heavy dialogue, it seems like, for a fair amount, and we're going to get one pretty good action sequence.
Per movie, per episode?
That's fine. I enjoyed it. I've watched, Arrow. I watched every season, right? And Arrow would start with a fight scene, probably.
Yeah, the first 5 minutes are all fight scenes.
You'd have some dialogue, and then you'd have them capturing and doing a big fight scene at the end.
Mix in a little bit of Felicity Smoke, and I'm good.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a dream come true. I'm okay with this, and I assume it's got to be something budgetary because you can't just have balls to the wall fights and everything.
But I think they've done a great job so far. I think when we look at the dialogue, getting more information on Bucky, kind of how he's adapting to life after coming back from the blip. Sam's story is really interesting with his family dynamic.
Did you find it weird? This kind of caught me off guard. Not caught me off guard. I just thought it was funny. So when Sam's getting ready to go after the hand, it's not the hand. It's
not the hand. You keep doing it.
Flag.
The flag smashers.
There we go. Flag flyers.
Flag smashers. You're good.
Yeah, I know the flag flyers. They're when he's going to go after them, and all of a sudden, Bucky's just there.
Yeah. Bucky just shows up.
I was wondering, I think we talked about this on the last episode when we talked about it. It was
the dark tapes.
No, wait, did that?
Yeah, that was in the dark tapes. We didn't even get to release
information
on episode 1.
One of the things we kind of talked about in the first one there was is there going to be how are they going to build this relationship with him and Bucky? Because they're on different parts of the world in the first episode.
Yeah, but the therapist does make a note that he hadn't returned any of Sam's texts or phone calls.
Okay.
So there has been some type of trying communication between them.
It just seems really odd that he just walked into frame. He's just on a base. I was like, does he even have clearance?
Bro,
they're free agents,
sir, when you have a vibranium arm, you get clearance anywhere.
He just flashes that thing around.
I'm the White Wolf.
Yeah.
Just let me in.
They called him, was it White Panther?
No, so that was Sam's joke in episode 2. He's like, spent a little bit of time in Wakanda, and now you're the White Panther? Yeah. And he hits him with, no, I was the White Wolf. It's like, oh, okay. Excuse me, badass.
And then they also, what did the kid call him? He called him
Black Falcon.
Yeah.
Oh, he goes, wait, so am I the Black Falcon because I'm black? And he's like, well, I mean, yeah. And he's like, so are you the black kid? Oh, I got him, didn't I? I love the dynamic so far. And I think episode 1 did a great job of just kind of us understanding where these characters are after it's all been kind of falling into place in the scope of everything. We understand. I mean, you asked a great question in the lost tapes. For those with good taste, check out our YouTube.
It might be on there.
It might be on there. Who knows? we just kind of are wondering how these two are going to come together and how they're going to fit in the storyline that is the legacy of Captain America and Steve Rogers. Well, it doesn't take long because all apparently that needs to happen is somebody gets their hands on the shield, and Bucky, that's a no-no in his book. Because he's just like, bro, you just gave up the shield? How did you get in here? I'm about to go on a mission. What do you? I don't have time for this. It was a great interaction, but I just had no idea where it came from.
But I liked kind of later in the episode where you get a little bit of an answer to that, where it's like, I'm not necessarily mad that you didn't take the shield. I'm mad that Steve thought you were good enough to take the shield and you didn't do it, because that means that like
he was wrong about you,
and
he's probably wrong about me.
Yeah,
it was deep, man.
Yeah,
it was extremely deep.
He's starting, like, both of these guys. I mean, I don't know if they could have carried a movie, but I can see what they make a very good pairing, and they're both carrying this TV show with their performances.
Yeah, they've in more ways than one built such a storyline in that first episode, kind of having an understanding of where Sam is with his family, and then understanding where Bucky is with his need to amend for everything that he's done. We see his relationship with the older gentleman who lost his son. We come to find out that Bucky was the reason that his son was killed.
R.I.P.
And then having them have this interlocking moment where they're having this staring contest. That was some of the best TV I've ever seen. Just the overall interaction. I loved it. Because he's like, yeah, this is what you wanted, right? You want to stare at me? This is what you like to do. You
just want to be boys, yeah? We should do our episodes like that.
I think we should do some episodes like that.
Move on
our next 3, 2, 1 spoiler is we're just interlocking our knees and we're like, what's up?
We'll just sit here with the mics in our hands like this.
No, that's where we get the jib arms and we're good to go.
Oh, that's a good point.
I'm telling you, brother, we got to scale this out. But I thought that moment, it was just really cool because it does lead to probably the most understanding part of this series is these two have a legacy that they're unfortunately feeling almost burdened with. You know, Sam gave up the shield because it's what he felt was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Bucky says that they need to take the shield because standing up for Steve and being his legacy is what they think is the right thing. It's just a great perspective from both guys, and I'm curious to see where it's going to go from here.
So as far as legacy is concerned, I mean, obviously we get we get more on the new Cap in this.
What did you think of his introduction in the first episode?
I was shocked. I didn't expect him to just give you that immediately, but it sets the tone. Like I think it's a really good starting point for the show, especially when we're only getting 6 episodes.
Unfortunately,
I think that's a pretty good starting point. This episode, I liked him initially. I actually thought the part at the beginning with the football and like giving him that backstory was good, right? I all of a sudden he was likable.
Man, for him to show up at the end like that and just look really goofy, you almost had to give us something at the beginning, and I loved. The introduction of who this guy is, John Walker, I think is his name.
And you just meet him without like the Cap stuff on now.
Yeah.
Like, you get him as just the person.
Yeah, you get to see...
Which you don't really get a ton of that with Steve initially. No. Like, you know, like it's like he is Cap.
I mean, Steve's only version of himself is Small Steve. You know, taking a beating in the streets of Brooklyn, you know? So to be able to see this guy who... I don't know if that's made me like him, but it definitely helped me understand why he was chosen. And I think that was kind of important. You really had to make us understand why you were giving the shield to this person.
So I liked it a little at the beginning, to your point. I think as the episode progresses, you see...
I don't like him.
You see, you know, he's a little arrogant. He almost wants to make... Does it feel like he's like, I'm the Avengers now? Does that what it feels like?
Oh, dude, he thinks he's Nick Fury.
Yeah.
I think I was surprised he didn't have a patch over his eye.
What I thought was really interesting, though, was the scene in the car. Right, when you find out that his friend and his name's escaped me, but he goes, it's Battlestar, right?
Lamar.
Lamar, thank you. When he tells his name, and I don't read the comics, so forgive me for anybody out there who already knows this, but I had to go and like Google. I'm like,
you won't hit us in the comments.
Yeah, like I know. I was like, I know this must be important, so I go and Google it, and I'm like, oh shit, and then it makes me think. I'm like, well, this is really interesting that they're almost giving you like a mirror effect, where it's like this is. You know, Falcon, Winter Soldier are kind of looking at what they could have been in a way, right? Yeah. Or what they're going to be.
What their options are at this point.
Yeah,
because
the whole episode was a real mirroring effect in that way.
Yeah, he basically made it seem like we're moving on. Like at this point, the same way that Zack Snyder needs to move on, we're taking the Avengers or SWORD or whatever we're going to call this new initiative. We're taking it. We're spearheading it. It's me and this guy, me and my buddy.
You can hop on.
You can hop on. We'd like to have you.
Yeah,
we need you. Fall in line, but you're going to be part, like what you're wearing right now, that's all government property.
Yeah.
We own that. We're kind of the government.
Mm-hmm.
It already made me not like him. And knowing Bucky the way that I do, we're homies. I just can't see Bucky even remotely being okay with this guy being Cap.
So you kind of got us to the end of the episode there, right? And the big thing that comes after that. So we go to prison, we go to jail. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this, but did you think that scene was interesting? The police officer scene.
Yeah, that dynamic was a little bit weird.
Well, it seems like they're making a few social commentaries in these episodes, right? The first episode with the trying to get a loan, and how much trouble she's had to get the loan, and then also in this episode with like you stop because of Sam, but then it's Bucky who has a warrant. Like that was just a weird what was really happening there that other than the obvious that they're going after. I think
it was a soft way to transition into the much needed face to face that they needed that they had to have. But to use that as an instrument, I don't think it was okay.
It was really weird, man. Like it doesn't. I don't know if it needs to be there. I don't have I think the message. I hope the message is coming from an honest place.
Certainly.
Right.
Like I hope you're not
shining a light on how this stuff does really happen. And if that's the context that we're getting.
If it's genuine,
I get behind it.
I understand.
But if it's just like kind of thrown into an episode and we're not ever going to get I guess this is all leading to getting this this black superhero, I guess, right? Like maybe is the outcome here is that we're going to show you all this stuff to then give you this guy who everybody's going to look up to. But and again, if that's the point, then fine. But if we're not going to get
but if that is the point, I don't know if that's fine because we've established so much credibility for Sam at this point, right? He was chosen by Cap.
Was a superhero.
He's got the credentials.
You know what I mean? And people aren't recognizing him on the street, and they're treating him different. It just seemed a little stuck in there.
I do think, to your point, they are trying to hit on some major marks socially here. I think it's ill-guided. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's a good attempt, and I do think that you need to be careful. You got to tiptoe because you're getting into a place where are you doing it just to put it there, as you said, or are you doing it because it's ultimately going to build to something? But if you're looking at it, what does it build to?
And listen, maybe I'm the only one who's seeing it. I guess I haven't seen a ton
That's
of
a great point.
commentary on it, and maybe I'm just fucking dead wrong about it. It just seemed a little weird. So the very end of the episode, though, we get them having a conversation, and we've met earlier 80-year-old man who's
superhuman,
which is badass, right?
Really cool interaction. I love that,
and I like that we're getting that tie-in that we
tore off his arm. It's great,
we keep getting
man.
the acknowledgement of Bucky's age and how much he's seen, because the time that Steve was asleep, he was kind of being used.
Yeah,
right?
he was being
as a
used.
tool.
Yeah.
So he has a whole life that's different.
Instrument
than
of
Steve.
destruction.
He has a whole different time frame than Steve does, right? So that's kind of nuts. So getting that, and then you get the thing where he's like, what is the line that Bucky says that he says to him about it's one of your people?
No, so the gentleman says when his people got to me, and he says, yeah, when he was we need to go talk to my people, and Sam's like, oh no, he didn't mean anything by it, and again, that's a little bit of a social cue there, but he's like, no, when he's talking about my people, he means Hydra.
Yes,
and
we need to go talk to
Zemo,
which is.
That ending.
I liked it. Yeah,
fantastic
really,
ending.
Because it left me. I'm like, oh, this is how you're getting him, and they're actually going to be working together. I think we all assumed, and he could still be the big villain.
He's a consultant at this point.
He's kind of like Hannibal.
Yeah, the only thing that we didn't really talk too much about is we don't know if he's our bad guy, but the bad guys that we have been introduced to are all super soldiers.
But we do know he is a bad guy.
Right? Well, we know he's a
bad
guy.
That's why I say the Hannibal thing, because it's Hannibal's a bad guy behind bars, right?
Yeah.
But he has to be used as an instrument of the law. It's are we going to get that? Where he knows so much because he did so much?
We have to consult this man to find out how these other 8 super soldiers came to be and what their ultimate plan is to get rid of every other social structure in the world. Gets really interesting. Should be good.
I'm definitely interested to see where this is going to go. Next week, I think they left us with a lot of stuff to look forward to.
Yeah, quite a cliffhanger.
I want to see the interactions we're going to get. Still, just the Bucky and Sam interactions I look forward to. But now we're going to add in a person that they have history with, right?
Certainly.
Guy who's caused a lot of problems and maybe doesn't want to play nice. So that seems really, really interesting. I also know we're going to get at least one really good action sequence next week. So
yeah, I'm hoping Bucky has his earplugs in so that guy doesn't read out that sequence again. Could get really bad.
I'm in for the long haul.
I know, man. I was really just proud that you jumped on the week-to-week train, man.
It's pretty dope.
But you know who else has to jump on the week-to-week train?
Who?
Our listeners.
Wow. Yeah, please do.
Those with good taste need to tune in to For Those with Good Taste.
Jump on it.
Every single week. Jump back in here, Good Taste Studios, because I think are we going to be talking Mighty Ducks next week?
That's my hope, because we didn't get to talk about it this week. We're a little crunched on time. First and foremost, though, you got to check us out on Wednesday, because we're going to have our recap of what I'm sure to be is a banger of a heavyweight main event this weekend.
UFC 260.
If you haven't checked out that video, we just put our preview out the other day. It's only 10 minutes long. Click on it real quick. Check a listen. It out. Give it a like. And yeah, we're going to talk about Mighty Ducks next week. Please watch it. I liked it. I gave some harsh criticism a couple months back on the trailer. I'm in, dude. I'm fucking
That's the only reaction that we needed to get on board.
I'm in.
I am all about it. I'm going to make sure to catch it. And there are some rumors that we may be tuning into the South Park quarantine special.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that, check it out so we can all have a group discussion.
Check it out, because we're certainly going to want to spoil the shit out of that. But
yes, sir. This
has been fun, man.
Dude, I've had a blast. It's been a quick one. We normally like to go another 15, 20 minutes, but this is perfect.
No, this is that sweet spot.
Feels good.
We're going to be right back here, guys. Before you get out of here, make sure to hit us on the subscriptions, hit us with a like, make sure to hit us in the comments, and be back right here next week. We'll see you guys. We're out of here.
Peace.
Later.
For those with good taste.